Yeah, okay, good. Okay, here we go. So you want to go ahead and welcome?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's ScotWeek podcast. I'm Kelsey Deanne. I'm the director of ScotWeek, and
I'm Cindi McIntosh, the president of the new ScotWeek, and we are so thrilled to have with us today Mr. James Langridge, who is the president of the British American Business Council, Los Angeles, newly elected earlier this year, was it, James?
Yes, that's right. Back in February. It's been in the throne for a couple of months now, wrestling with lots of different things. So delighted to be here today. Cindi and Kelsey, I want to congratulate you both on coming up with such a wonderful idea for ScotWeek. I was so excited to get involved in it, and obviously there's been delays. We've all experienced them, and so I know when the rubber hits the road and we can do this in person, I'm excited. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support. That means the world to us to have that support, and having been part of the BABC for, I think, the better part of almost 20 years now. I'm thrilled that you're excited about it as well. And you know, we're hoping to have it the way that it's meant to be. And we have some Brit Week crossovers. We're kind of like the small little brother, you know, coming in right before Brit Week. And that wonderful display and all the magic that is. And so we're very excited to fit in with the British community and do all things Scottish and drink some whiskey and have fun.
I think it's such a great thing. I think you found a great place to have it, and it's good timing. And I just think you just put it together at the right time. And I think people want this. And that's why it's going to do so well.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And by the way, any BABC Christmas luncheon wouldn't be the same without your participation, Cindi. It's the highlight of the luncheon every year. It's absolutely brilliant. I wouldn't even know where to begin. And when you come out with the bagpipes, it's just excellent. I love it. And
well,
I know many people do.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. And I thoroughly enjoy it. You know, it's every year it's just one of the highlights of this season. And I don't know if people understand and realize how big that party is that you throw this great, I call it a party, but I know it's an event, and it is so well attended, and it's really, really fun, and it just isn't Christmas without it. And so thank you for that. And
no, it's our pleasure. It's been going for, I think, over 50 years now. We've been in LA, and the Christmas luncheon is a centerpiece for the British American Business Council. We vary between, depending on the room size and the layout, between 400 to 500 people every year. And we just want to put on a great show. And it's just a wonderful experience, and everyone's talking about it afterwards. So we look forward to it.
It is my favorite silent auction items as well. You guys have the best.
There's some good ones. There really are. The trick to it, though, I can give you guys a little hint for all your listeners as well. What you do with the silent auction is you wait until everyone's seated down at lunch, and then you sneak back out and put in another bid. Just say, apparently that works very well. Just say.
You know, we should try this. We'll try this next year. Although I won a big raffle prize this year too, and I quietly passed my ticket over to the person that came with me this year because I was embarrassed at having. But I won those round trip airline tickets. So
well,
go anywhere.
You're a better person than me, Cindi. I would have kept it.
I know. So, but thank you again. So why don't you tell our listeners here, because, you know, we have a lot of media partners as we're building out ScotWeek. We have a lot of partners who we send our content out through their channels as well, which is fantastic. We agree to share their information, they share ours. And so there's going to be some people that this reaches that maybe haven't heard of the British American Business Council and the organization in Los Angeles. Can you talk a little bit about this?
Yes, sure. So the British American Business Council, it's been in LA for over 50 years. They're in every major state and town or city in the USA. I was on a call this morning with the main office, a gentleman called Stuart Bagshaw, who administers all of the different BABC locations. And we're just talking about how do we come together more as one, so when people are looking for us and can find out more about what the BABC or the British American Business Council is doing in their area. The whole idea of the BABC, though, is bringing businesses together. And I always find it's been a very powerful networking tool. I think, and the only real requirement for anybody attending is they don't mind talking about themselves, or they don't mind if someone asks them, what do you do? Because sometimes, especially in Los Angeles, people can get a little bit caught up in themselves and feel that they don't need to explain or talk. And I find when you ask someone a couple of questions, it can open up the door to a wonderful friendship and maybe some business as well. And so that's what I'm all about. And that's why when I came here 12 years ago, I really got into, I thought I need to kind of hitch my wagon to something. And when someone mentioned to me, hey, I knew there was a British community here, but I didn't know to what depth. And so I found the BABC, and I've been going ever since. And I just love the fact that it's just bringing businesses together through networking, and there's an opportunity to do a lot of business from it. And plus there's some great events. You have a ton of fun as well along the way. And that kept me coming back. And now that's all I do. You only have so much time to attend stuff. And in LA, you could go for a free cocktail any day and night of the week. I think that you get better bang for your buck by going to the BABC events, and you meet a great crowd of people along the way, like yourselves, Cindi and Kelsey.
Well, thank you. And it's great fun. And so for anybody who wants to learn more about the BABC or get a calendar of events, they can go to the BABC LA website.
That's correct. BABCLA.org. We recently just been running a series of podcasts as well. You can find the back library of those, plus our previous events, plus some stuff that's coming up in the future, which it's changing at the moment. When we have a bit more of a firm date on when we can have an actual event in person, more will be revealed.
Well, we last saw you, Kelsey and I were at the Fairmont, and you had the rugby players. Right. Kelsey, do you remember that? What was your impression, Kelsey?
Yeah, it was so interesting because you had the Scottish team, the English team, and the Welsh team.
Right, that's right.
Right, yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
They make up they make up the British Isles. So we thought a little bit of friendly banter between them would be good. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the event? Did you enjoy it?
It was outstanding. I absolutely loved it. Of course, I've been in and around rugby all of my life almost, and I think people really appreciated it. And it was packed full. It was very well attended, and I think it was one of the last events we were able to do before the virus kind of took over what we're doing. I think
you're right.
I really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you had a great time. We got some great feedback from that. We did have a great turnout as well, which is always good. And it was wonderful to have the British Consulate General, Mike Howes there as well. That's always wonderful when we love the Consul General. They do wonderful things for us here in LA. So we're always great to have them along. It was a well-attended event. And what's interesting is the Rugby Sevens, which started a day later or a couple of days after that, is probably, apart from the LA Marathon, is the last major sporting event they had in the city of Los Angeles. Wow. Before everything shut down. Yeah. And I was on a phone call yesterday with Dan Lyle, who heads AEG and runs Rugby Sevens in North America. And we're actually having a podcast with him coming up soon, where he'll talk a little bit more about it. But he was blown away by the BABC's involvement and response, and the British community in Santa Monica and in LA. So that was great feedback for us. And like I said, we're anything that we can do and get involved in and help out with, that's got a bit of a British flavor to it counters it.
And we're so grateful for your support as well. You were one of the first people, in organizations to reach out to ScotWeek, and we were very happy to have your support and to have you here on today. It's wonderful, and the work that you do is wonderful and amazing. And you, like I said, you've off to such an amazing start as president for that organization, and you've just breathed some wonderful, I don't want to say new life, but energy into it. And you can see it already. And even though, here we are all stuck at home and, having to talk in this way, you still have kept a momentum going, and especially with those podcasts. And I encourage everyone to go onto the website and listen to some of those fascinating podcasts, interesting people. And these are some of the people that if you come to a BABC event, you will meet these people in person. They're right. The regulars. They're there all the time.
Right, that's right. I'm sure we're all familiar with Professor Dr. David Warburton.
Yes.
I think who doesn't know him? He's a national treasure. And we're so delighted that he was able to attend a couple of the podcasts. He will be back soon as well. And the goal really with just how we're talking about it, the goal with the podcast has been we have an opportunity to provide something to the local community, and it's just a little bit of information. It's something interesting, maybe educational as well, and it allows us to stay relevant and keep in touch with people. And so I think it's been well received, and so long as it is being well received, we will continue.
Very well done.
Very good. And I just want to back up. So you said you've been in LA for 12 years. What was that journey like? What was the decision to move from the UK to Los Angeles?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. So 12 years, literally 12 years, actually. Yesterday, 12 years.
Wow.
So I came to LA probably 18 years ago on a vacation. And I just knew when I was here that I was going to live here. And I didn't know how. I got off the plane and I just thought, I love this place. I feel like I'm at home. I felt more at home coming here for a 2-week vacation than where I lived in England. And I can't explain it because I love England. I love England, I love my family, everybody. And I just, from there on, I got this insatiable bug that I knew one day I would. It happens to be, my wife is American. I met her by chance, just on a vacation here as well. And we got married and she moved to England with me for a year before we moved here. My daughter was born in England. My son was born here in America. They have dual nationality. I started out with a green card and now I'm a full-blown citizen. And it's just been an incredible journey that's gone like that. It was 12 years ago, but it feels like yesterday. And my attraction to LA is it is the land of opportunity here. If you want to go out and do something, and if you work hard and you focus and you stay on what you want to achieve, you will get it. And here, people want you to win. And if you want to go out and try something new, you need all the positivity and positive reinforcement that you can get. And here you're going to find it. People want you to win. You see a guy driving a Ferrari down the street, people are happy for that person. And you need that. And that is what drives me. It excites me. Thank you, God, we have beautiful weather here. I get to do this outside today. It'll be different in England. I love England. Don't get me wrong. And so it's just so many opportunities here as well. And whether or not people realize it, when I say it's a land of opportunity, there's so much business opportunity here in LA. Obviously, the entertainment is the biggest entertainment. It's the entertainment capital of the world. But also there's a lot of other business here as well. And I'm in a business where I provide equipment for offices. And there's a lot of companies. And how do I connect with them? Well, BABC again, networking opportunities. Networking is so important here in LA. People don't understand it when they first get here. and that's fine. I encourage everybody to come along to some events and see what it's like, because it's that what you know, it's not necessarily what you know, it's perhaps more who you know here in this town. And like I said, people want to see you succeed. People want you to win. You come along and you meet a lot of people who have that same desire, and it's a winning formula.
Every time I've gone to a BABC event, I've loved it, because every single time I meet someone new in an industry that I'd never even heard of before sometimes.
Right.
So, you know, I'm an actor, so I'm used to going to entertainment industry events and meeting other creatives, but going to a BBC, I might run into someone who's an immigration lawyer, or, you know, Dr. Warburton, he's the top children's hospital doctor, and airline people. There was a guy that had worked on software to measure how successful a film would be based on all these algorithms, and it was absolutely fascinating. And so I'm really excited that, you know, you're doing all these podcasts to reach more people and educate people about all the diversity that's in it. Because when you think of British American Business Council, a lot of times Americans get this idea in their image in their head of, oh, they're British, they have to, you know, they're tea drinking and stuck up, and they're not going to be welcoming and friendly. But it's
got my tea.
Stereotype.
Well, here's the thing. It's definitely we're a funny bunch, us Brits. We can be a little reserved at times, and I understand that. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that's my dog.
Oh, cute.
There he is.
Oh, cute.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
He's very protective.
Okay.
We're a funny bunch, us Brits. Now, the thing is, and that's why it's great, because I think English people don't really understand Americans. And that's why, in the beginning anyway. And so it's great when we get us all together in a room, because we're speaking the same language, but we're not. And it's great. I love it. And then what I love is when you have a group of Brits who come into town, a delegation or something, and they kind of, I think everyone who comes to LA wants to live here after they come here, especially if they meet some good people in business or a good crowd, because it's just that energy. And Cindi, thanks for your mention about my energy. Look, I don't know where it comes from, but I have a passion, because I know we can all succeed if we go in a certain direction. And so I love it when new people are coming into town and we can give them a slice of what it's really like here, and really show them the business community and the local community. When Brits understand that, it's great, because they want to be a part of that. And you just got to peel back the onion, and then you really can, you kind of figure out, they figure it out. And it's great. It's great to experience. It's great to see, because everyone can succeed when they just lighten up a little bit. And that's what happens here.
Well, and it's wonderful, because, you know, there's about 10 million people in Los Angeles County. That's a massive amount of people. And when you're coming in, you know, I've been here for just a little over 30 years now. But when you come into this big city and area with all these massive amounts of people, it's difficult to, where do you start? How do you fit in? How do you start connecting? So, you know, something like your organization, the BABC LA, is integral for people in their businesses, because otherwise you can get rather a little lost, you know, if you're just coming in from out of town. So it's good to have that connection, to get friendships immediately, maybe make some business connections immediately.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's we have a close relationship with the Department of International Trade, who is the business arm of the British Consul General here. We've had a fabulous relationship with them for many years, and we have a nice structure. So when people come along to the events, there is a genuine opportunity to meet other businesses and to progress a business conversation with someone. I encourage people to come along, meet, shake hands, get information, and then set up a second meeting afterwards. That's a reason to go for coffee with someone. Never lunch alone. It's great. It's great. Another analogy as well. Meet some of these people at the events, and then go and the next day or the following weeks, it's an opportunity to follow up. So it's a nice platform. It's a springboard for opportunity. We can't we can't sign the deals for everybody or anybody, but we can get them in front of the person with a pen and paper. That's how we can look at it.
Oh, yes. And we're so excited to have you be part of what we're calling ScotCon or Scott Conference, a business conference. And I'll let Kelsey talk a little bit about that, but just real quickly, you know, this is meant to be a platform. So ScotWeek is not an organization that's membership based. So we don't have year-round programs. We won't have, you know, different types of membership or anything like that. So I feel that we could fit our organizations in very nicely in having some of the businesses who are wanting to participate in our Scott conference. It's kind of like a TED Talks format where you can, you know, someone can for 25 minutes get up on a stage, talk about what it is that they do. They can have a panel discussion, do Q&A, and this is meant to be broadcast literally. You know, we're making connections in Africa, New Zealand, all around the world. And so we're also trying to give a platform just in first off, maybe a one-day experience, and then maybe, you know, future events. We're looking to branch that out and to cover a multitude of different industries and maybe have a multi-day event where we give the businesses in our area, especially the British, and a platform to be able to talk and speak about what they do, what their passion is, why they do what they do, and get some exposure.
It sounds wonderful. It really does. I think you've come up with an absolutely fabulous set of events and ideas, and I'm super excited to see it all come together for you.
Thank you.
And also I'm curious too, so outside of BABC, you also have a business. So it's Royal Office Solutions.
That's right.
Tell us about that.
Well, thanks for asking. So Royal Office Solutions, I lived here for 12 years. I worked for other businesses selling office equipment, primarily copying and printing equipment to lots of different businesses in and around town and out of state as well across the USA. And over that time, I decided about 3 years ago to set my own company up and go it alone. And let me tell you, running your own business there's a lot of, let's just call it excitement, differing types of excitement. And I would encourage anyone who's thinking about taking a chance and setting a business up, they absolutely should do it. I think it's the biggest adventure that you're going to go on in your professional career. And I'd encourage anyone who's thinking about it to take a chance and do it, especially now in the environment that we're in. I sell copiers and printers, like I said. I didn't grow up as a child thinking I want to be a copier salesperson, but I know I've always been very good. Well, I've been a people pleaser, or I can talk to people. I like to talk to people. I like conversations. I like building relationships, and I can build very deep, long-lasting relationships. And in a sales business, that's very important. And so if you take away the copiers and put in a different product, I probably would be able to sell it. But I've hung my hat on this part of the market, and that's where I'm at. And it's taken me on a wild, fantastic ride. And I've worked with companies from the tiniest little offices to some of the bigger names you can think of. And it's been a wonderful experience, and it only gets better. The current climate with COVID-19 has put a strain on everybody. I am aware of that. And so we're working with our customers and coming up with custom solutions for them and deferments and everything right now. And it's been working. And as a business, we're going to survive and we're going to thrive when it's safe to, because I really care about my people who work with me, because I'm cautious to send anybody out to repair equipment at the moment, at the fear of them getting sick. And that's not what we do. But we've been supporting businesses remotely, and when we need to, been there in person. But it's been the best. It's been the best professional decision I've ever made in my life, setting up my own business. It's given me a ton of freedom, and I've learned a lot, and I just wish I did it sooner.
You know, that it's interesting you bring that up. It's not easy being an entrepreneur and working for yourself, is it? And I think a lot of times it overwhelms, the thought of it is overwhelming to a lot of people. I don't know, I don't know if the idea is that, well, what if I fail, or what if, and you just have to have that mindset of, ultimately, I'm not going to fail. There might be little small failures along the way, things that I learn, but that's all part of success, isn't it?
I agree. It's I had this saying early on, and it wasn't my. I mean, I definitely have an ego, but this wasn't my ego getting in the way. I promise. I used to say I can't fail, and it's not because I was that great at what I was doing. It's because failure wasn't an option, because if I just couldn't fail. I had a family to support, and so I went to whatever it took to find the opportunities, to close the business, to find the new deals, to build that relationship, to grow it. And that's been probably my best quality, is finding new opportunities and developing relationships along the way. And when I got involved in the BABC and understood the fact that, hey, we can have great networking events here, and there's great opportunities to bring customers to events and to introduce them to other people. So you kind of like become the middleman. And that's also, well, I suppose while we're talking about what certain things, I came up with the other philosophy early on at the BABC, when I could see, when I first joined the BABC, I didn't know anybody. And it took a long time to start to get to know everybody. And I just remember, as I started to get a little bit of momentum, I thought, gosh, I am going to, if I can help anybody else by introducing them to someone, I'm going to do it without expectation. So there's a lot of expectation here in LA. If you introduce someone to somebody over here, well, then they're going to want to get something over here. They want something. I don't want anything. If I can introduce you to somebody and then that takes off and you can go and meet them, or you can get some business going, that's all I need to know. It's the karma that comes from that, and the feel-good factor of just seeing someone, two people now having a connection and opportunity coming from it. Now, obviously, the good part of it is, I guarantee you there's some good that comes back from it as well. And I have had a lot of business that's come out of it, but I don't have any expectations, because I know if nothing comes of it, I haven't overpromised anything. I haven't let anybody down, and I don't expect something as well, because I think that is not a genuine thing that you're doing for someone then. And so that's how I try to do it with the BABC, and I see it all the time, and that's what makes me happy.
Well, and good things do come back to you. And I think both yourself and Kelsey are very much what I call, you're bridge makers. You build bridges for people. And there's not a lot of people like that in the world that are able to do that and know that they're doing that and do it for the right reasons. And so thank you for your service doing that, because I know you do not receive payment for doing all of that and for working at the helm of the BABC, which you're doing a fantastic job. And I can't wait to see more of what you do moving forward and all the good things that come out of what it is that you're doing and the new things that you're implementing and making for people.
Thank you very much. No, there's lots more to come.
Thank you, James, so much for joining us here today. It was wonderful to hear more about you, what you do, both at the helm of the BABC LA as well as in your own company. If people want to find you and your business and your company, how do they do that? Where do they find you?
Thank you very much for asking. So my website is www.royalos.com. That's Royal Office Solutions. We're based here in Los Angeles, out of Century City. We work all over the country. We're corporated here in LA. Check us out online and find me on LinkedIn under James Langridge. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to being with you in person again very soon. And until then, continue to listen to your wonderful podcast here.
Well, thank you very much, ladies. That was fun. Did we do okay? Did I do okay?
You're great.